Yep, you're right. I'm totally wrong. I'm totally incompetent and don't know what I'm talking about. And you're so great at encouraging young people.
I didn't say you were incompetent. I said you're inexperienced and you're arrogant.
What are you so mad about?
I pray for you.
It's not that serious.
I pray for you.
I hope you do, and I hope a little know-it-all 16-year-old.
I've got a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So, you said that you ask people incredibly simple questions, correct?
Yeah,
Yep.
I ask people questions, yes.
And you expressed it would sound like, based off your tone, that it's frustrating.
Yeah, get closer to your microphone, please. Get closer to your microphone,
okay.
Please.
Yeah. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. So, you explained, at least it sounded through your tone of voice, that it's frustrating. I can understand, like, when people can't understand simple questions, that it gets frustrating and it makes it difficult to get through a debate, right? So my thing is, though, Jesus ran into that a lot. He explained some pretty simple ideas to his disciples, and I think one of the most iconic ones was in John, when he was walking down the beach with Peter. And he wasn't asking a question, but he was making a point to Peter, that he said, "You follow me." And Peter turns around and he points at John and he says, "What about him?" And Jesus didn't yell at him. Jesus didn't get mad at him. Jesus didn't kick him off of a VC. So do you think that you're representing Christ in a good way by doing the things that you do?
Except when I get angry and swear, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Because what we're dealing with, I'm confronting people with their extreme bad behavior and their outright deception and lies. Okay. Do you remember in the book of Acts when Stephen was preaching the gospel to the Jewish Supreme Court, the Sanhedrin? You remember that?
First martyr.
Do you remember that?
Yep. He was the first martyr.
Right. Now, why did they kill him?
They didn't like what he was saying.
What did he say to them?
He was preaching the gospel.
Is that it? So they picked up stones because he said Jesus died on the cross, rose again from the dead for our sins.
They rejected what he said because
you don't recall what he said to them, do you?
Then do educate me on what he said, because
he told them recently. He told them that they were uncircumcised in their hearts.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you have any idea how offensive that was?
Probably incredibly offensive.
It was so offensive that they all collectively decided to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does the text also say? It says he was filled with the Holy Spirit.
Right.
He said, from their point of view, what was the most offensive thing he could have said to them. He could not have said anything. If he had called them murderers or rapists, that would have paled in comparison to saying that they were uncircumcised in their hearts. Because they prided themselves on being physically circumcised and being descendants of Abraham, and actually being in service to God while being among members of the Jewish Supreme Court. So when he told them that they were uncircumcised in their heart, this was the most vile, disgusting thing that he could have said to them from their point of view. But it was true. Now, when Jesus said to the Pharisees that they were snakes and vipers, do you understand back then, okay, they're not like most snakes that we're dealing with now, okay? Snakes were poisonous. Also, he called them ravenous wolves, okay? Now, when we hear the word wolf, we think of these majestic predatory creatures that are in the national parks. Ravenous dogs and wolves were things that were hated. Okay, this was a vile thing for Jesus to say to the religious leaders. He also said that they were rotting corpses in whitewashed tombs. Was that Christ-like when he said that?
Sir? Answer. Well, do you think that Jesus has a grounds of authority that we don't have to be able to say those things?
Well, you see, did Stephen, when he called them uncircumcised in their hearts?
I mean, he spoke truth to them, but you mentioned
Yeah,
Jesus particularly insulting people, so
right.
I was referring to
Yeah, I don't, I
that. Do
don't,
you
I
think?
don't have a problem. I don't have a problem in insulting people who deserve it. If I insult somebody and it's gratuitous and it's unnecessary, then that would be wrong. But the majority of people that I insult, they deserve to be insulted because they're actually committing the very things that I'm accusing them. They're being willfully ignorant. They're being willfully stupid. They're being arrogant. They're being defiant. They're being prideful. They're stiff-necked. They're rebellious. They're being deceitful. And I confront people when they do this. Now, when somebody ask the guy at the top of the screen here with the red hat. His name is Abstinence. Okay, he will tell you if people don't engage in deception and lies. Okay, with me, I exercise extreme patience. But after they cross certain lines over and over and over again, then I'm going to insult them, and I believe it's justified.
That's right.
Can you
I felt
can you give
insulted.
me can you give me a verse that says that you have the authority to discern whether or not you can or
Yeah, we
can't
have the
insult somebody?
example we have the example of the Old Testament prophets. We have an example of Jesus as a prophet of God, and we have the example of the apostles who did it similarly. Okay, it would have to be on a case by case. It would have to be on a case by case basis.
I just finished reading actually the prophets. I just finished up the minor prophets today, and yesterday I was reading Isaiah and Jeremiah and the major prophits, and they pleaded with their people to repent and turn away and call them
Right,
out
and
from
they
sin.
and they most certainly insulted people who were false teachers. He pleaded with the people, but you see, you're comparing apples and oranges. Okay, you are confusing people who I'm debating face to face, who are openly deceptive, devious, and deceitful, smarmy, arrogant, prideful. That is why they are getting justifiably insulted. We are not dealing with somebody who is just simply naive, uninformed, and is trying to figure out, isn't sure if Christianity is true or not. You can ask regulars. How many times have you participated in listening to me interact with people?
I've
A lot.
joined in
What's that?
a couple times. A couple times. I have a couple times.
Okay. The guy at the top, Abstinence. Other than times when I admit that I shouldn't get angry and maybe use some coarse words, aren't there numerous examples, more examples than you can shake a stick at me bending over backwards being patient with people?
Years of examples. Years of it.
Yes. Okay.
My thing would be though that
before you make a judgment of me, you need to listen to a lot more interactions that I have. Okay. As soon as I can smell that somebody is a troll, okay, then no more Mr. Nice Guy. Okay. I'm not going. If people listen, I'm going to ask you a simple question. How old are you?
I am 16.
Okay, good. I'm more than 3 times your age. I've been around the block a few more times. Now, do you understand are you aware of the fact that there's a basic social contract, unstated, unwritten social contract, that when human beings speak to each other, we will be truthful about what we think and believe?
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Good.
Yep,
And the vast majority, if not all of the people who end up getting insulted by me are people who are deliberately and purposely lying about that social contract. They're not here to intelligently disagree and debate. They're here to troll. And I have no patience. And by the way, I have patience for trolls, but after a certain point, I'm saying, after they get warned over and over again, that's when I no longer have patience. And then I will gladly and non-gratuitously insult them, the insults they most surely deserve.
Isn't one of the fruits of the spirits patience, and therefore something that we should never lay down or set aside?
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as the fruits of the spirit. Okay, it's called the fruit of the spirit.
It's fruit, like
the fruit. No, it's singular, not plural.
May I grab my Bible to double check that real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Hey,
find it.
Darth.
I need a moment.
Hey, Darth, I
Okay,
wanted to
you'll
say
be
something.
surprised.
I was attacked by 10 people or close to that for simply saying that you tolerate atheists, and I was getting attacked for that
Where?
in Christian apologetics.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there's uneven handedness moderation on that server, but when I'm on there and you're in there, you'll get proper moderation.
All right, you're correct. It does say fruit.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, we are called, but there's plenty of time where we are called to reprove and rebuke and even condemn. If you read through the New Testament, there are numerous times where Paul condemns and reproves and rebukes people for their bad behavior.
I mean, yeah, he does. In fact, like several occasions, he calls somebody a fool. But I mean, in that case, he's talking to church leaders. He was talking to his brother, and he wasn't talking to atheists. He was rebuking his brothers in Christ, not
Anybody.
outsiders.
Let me explain something to you. Okay, when people come and they're going to speak with me, if they are going to obviously and clearly violate the basic social contract and be deceitful and devious and troll me over and over and over again, I believe that I am more than biblically justified in rebuking them, even insulting them.
The apostles and the disciples and such, I mean, they faced complete and utter insults and such, and they still exercised their patience and love as Christ commanded them to.
What you're appealing to is your imagination right now.
How so?
Why? Because you didn't quote a chapter and verse, did you?
I mean, I can probably like spend quite
Yeah,
a bit of time.
you have a typical young professing Christian's view on how to deal with unbelievers. Okay, this is a knockdown debate forum. Okay, this is not somebody that this is not me sitting on a park bench having a conversation with people or in a face-to-face conversation. At a certain point, listen to me carefully. If suppose I went onto a college campus, okay, and I started preaching the gospel and I had some atheists challenging me. If the atheists conducted themselves there like they do here, I would call them out for their bad behavior and I would call them fools. I would call them stupid because they're choosing to be stupid. Okay. It's perfectly appropriate to call people fools if it is deserving. It is not appropriate to call people fools if it is unjustified or unwarranted. So you have a very naive understanding of how apologetics is to be conducted. We are to practice great patience, okay, and long suffering, and I do that. But at a certain point, I'm going to call people out for their bad behavior and even insult them. And by the way, the insults are fitting and accurate.
Mischievous, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the fact that Jesus flipped over tables in the temple, right?
Yeah, you can bring it up, but I wanted to bring up a verse because you said that I didn't name one. So we all know, and I can't think of the exact numbers and such and all that. But we all know Jesus said, if someone slaps you across the cheek, what do? You turn and give them
That's
the other.
not the common.
Yeah.
Jesus also called people broods of vipers.
And Jesus had the authority to.
Okay.
Do you have the authority? Are you Jesus?
No, we have the authority of believers to
among other believers, not among
wait a minute.
atheists.
Do you have the authority to interrupt me while I'm answering you?
I didn't finish what I was saying. You interrupted
me. Okay. You know what? Look, if you're going to continue to be an obnoxious teenager, you're going to get booted. Okay? You stop talking. You stop talking. I was answering you, and you immediately started over. Okay, all right, second time. Would you? Okay, you want to continue interrupting while I'm speaking? You're telling me that I should have a certain decorum and how I should treat people. Okay, and you're being rude right now by keeping on interjecting and over talking me.
I'm listening.
Now, how many years have you been doing apologetics?
I've been doing it for a couple years now. I want to go
Good.
into it as a career. I study it in school.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna do it as a career. Can you tell me what the word apologetics means?
It's a defense of someone's beliefs.
Mm-hmm. What does the root word mean?
I don't know. I mean, I probably from Greek or something.
So you don't know?
No, I do not know.
Okay.
It's from the word apologia, which means to give a
apologia.
Can you give me any singular key verse for apologetics?
Within the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
It was in 1 Peter, and it says that whenever anyone has a question for you, always be able to answer them in gentleness.
Mm-hmm.
Always
That's
be
right.
prepared.
Right, but that's not the situation we're dealing with here.
What do you mean?
These people are not coming at these are not sincere inquisitors. These are people who are hostile to the gospel, right? It's not only that they're hostile and object to the gospel. These are people who are deliberately violating the basic social contract. They're coming as pretending to be inquisitors, or how shall I say, seekers, but they're not. They're ravenous wolves. Okay, all they're coming here to do, many of them, is to troll. And once my troll meter gets into the red zone, that's when I insult them for the bad people that they are. Okay, people who do not troll do not get insulted for their bad behavior, because there is no bad behavior.
Right, but I'm not trolling you. In fact, I'm asking you.
I didn't say you were trolling me.
But you called me an obnoxious teenager, which I take as
you
an
are
insult.
you are obnoxious.
That's lovely. Am I allowed to tell you that you're
There's
obnoxious?
a difference between saying one is obnoxious.
You could say I'm obnoxious, but I wouldn't care because it's not true.
Oh well, it's not true what you said about me.
Being obnoxious and trolling is not necessarily the same thing.
Right, I don't think that you're trolling at all, but you are being a bit obnoxious, especially for your youth and your inexperience and your lack of education in this area.
Well, I mean,
these people are not coming in here. You wanted to quote 1 Peter 3:15. How about quoting 2 Corinthians chapter 10, which says we are destroying all speculations and every lofty thing that raises itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought into captivity to Christ. It says we're destroying speculations. Okay. First Peter 3:15 does not apply to the vast majority of people that I tangle with in here. They are not sincere inquisitors. These people are, with rare exception, basically not only trolls but blasphemers. Okay,
I'm going to tell you something, mischievous. If you have conversations as long as we have with all these types of individuals online, you're going to find out this the hard way.
Yeah, you're going to find out the hard way.
May I respond to that? I actually do this a lot. Like, I mean, a whole lot.
You're 16. You're 16 years old. I've been doing this for 10 years.
How does that prove that I haven't?
Okay. No, listen to me. At 16 years of age, okay, there's only a limited amount of time that you've had. Can you tell me what major apologetic books have you read?
I really like Ravi Zacharias. He's really awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't ask you who you liked. I said, what major any apologetic books? Do you know the basic divisions of apologetics?
I mean, no, but you said to name.
So you don't know. So you don't even. No, I didn't ask you to name an author. I said to name a book that specifically and exclusively deals with apologetics.
Unaborted Socrates and The Best Things in Life, Socrates. It deals with politics against abortion.
Rabbi Zacharias.
No, it's not by him. What brand?
Okay. Yeah. Notice how you're so quick to overtalk me.
You asked.
And you're talking. Yeah. Do you know? Okay. You know what? Keep on overtalking me. At a certain point, there's only so much I'm going to tolerate of your arrogance, and you're going to be kicked. Okay. You have a haughtiness to you as a young female, right? Now, I want to know what the title of any major apologetic book that you've read.
All right. There's Unaborted Socrates by Peter Cleft,
Peter Cleft is a Catholic.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Peter-
but
Peter Cleft is not a Christian.
Well,
How
and
about
his
Luke
apologetics
You said
are
apologetics.
How about Luke
You
6,
just said
26 through 36?
Oh,
How about that?
real quick. His
Except out of
apologetics-
context. How about Luke
Okay,
6,
I want
26 through 36?
everybody to stop over talking, Victor. And Victor, you're on thin ice. So I
I
suggest
care,
you
Darth.
behave yourself.
I'm
Okay,
out of
listen,
here in a
you
second
okay,
anyway.
good. Now you're banned. Okay. He was super trolling yesterday like there's no tomorrow. Now,
You just
what you-
did
you want-
justice.
yeah. So, you want to come in here like you know what you're talking about apologetics. You simply don't. Now, I perfectly admit it that on some instances I get angry, and there are sometimes I say things I shouldn't. But when it comes to the general insults that I throw out, the vast majority of time, the people who I issued it most surely deserve it. Okay? Okay? Because they're very fitting. They're choosing to be ignoramuses. They're choosing to be defiant. They're choosing to be deceptive. They're choosing to be trolls. Okay? And so when I insult them, it is not any different than Stephen saying to the Jewish Sanhedrin, you are uncircumcised in their hearts. It's cutting right to their heart as to what they truly are. Okay? Now,
And
how many atheists would you say that you have debated over the last 10 years?
probably like 20.
Okay, I've debated thousands.
Okay, but does that make you like that doesn't prove
I've
anything?
debated hundreds.
Okay, now you see, you're reasoning. You are reasoning like a child. Okay, when you say that doesn't prove anything, excuse me, what it demonstrates is I have a vastly greater realm of experience and interaction of a cross section of what atheists are like. So you debate 20 atheists. You are completely uneducated on the issue of apologetics. You are completely inexperienced in dealing with a large number of these people, what their mindset is, or even how to answer them. Would you like to go up against an atheist right now?
I mean, no, because I'm talking to you. So until that
No.
this
I'm
conversation's
saying,
done,
do you think you're competent to debate against an atheist?
yeah, but I'm not going to right now
Okay. Why not?
because
I
I'm
thought-
having a conversation with you
well-
and I'm not finished
Well,
with it.
guess what? You're not going to talk to another atheist. I'm going to play the role of an atheist, and we'll see how qualified you are in your apologetic understanding.
All right,
Right.
I'll try. I'm not claiming to be perfect. I definitely did. So don't
Okay,
hold that against me.
Listen. When you say I'm not claiming to be perfect, that is exactly the kind of response I would expect from childish thinking. Okay, I'm going to treat you or anyone else like an adult. If you're going to step into this ring, this is an adult forum. Okay, it's the grown-up hour. So if you want to step in and tangle, then don't be surprised when you're treated like a grown-up instead of a child. Now, you claim to believe in God. Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. We're going to show you how little you know. Okay, now you believe in God. What God?
Yes, I
What?
believe in
What God?
I believe in the God of the Bible.
Yeah, well, people believe in Muhammad, so, the God of Allah. So what?
Well, I mean, I believe in the Holy
Well,
Spirit.
yeah, well,
under
well,
Protestantism.
Yeah, well,
Under
people believe it. Yeah, and guess what? Guess what? Over in the Mideast, there are people who believe in a Zoroaster of the Zoroastrians. And so what? How is your God any different?
My God is he describes himself and reveals himself.
So
in the
what?
world.
Allah describes himself in the Quran.
All right. Well, I mean, if you don't want to hear what I have to say as an atheist, then I'll move
No,
on.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. I'm simply pointing out is that you have no exclusive claims. All you're just telling me is that you've accepted one God and one holy book rather than another. And my response is,
no.
don't overtalk me. Don't overtalk me. The fact
You're
that you
incompetent.
believe, do not overtalk me. The fact that you believe in a God from one book, so what?
You're an incompetent atheist that obviously does not have good intentions to ask me these questions, and therefore
Why are you judging? Why are you judging my motives? I'm simply objecting that you're telling me you believe in some God who's written in a holy book. How does that mean that that God exists?
I'm sorry, I take my teachings from Darth Dawkins, who taught me how to act this way, and this is exactly how he said you're supposed to defend your faith.
So now you're revealing yourself for the troll that you are.
Yep, I'm an absolute troll, and
you are a troll because now you're telling me that you want to be an apologist and you know what you're talking about, and I just played the role of an atheist and you collapsed within 2 minutes. You have no idea what you're up against in dealing with atheists. I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yep, you're right. I'm totally wrong. I'm totally incompetent and don't know what I'm talking about. And you're so great at encouraging young
I didn't
people.
say you were incompetent. I said you're inexperienced and you're arrogant.
What are you so mad about?
I pray for you.
It's not that serious.
I pray for you.
I hope you do, and I hope a little know-it-all 16-year-old.
Yeah, she's so out of her depth.
Did you see? I didn't even give her the rough and tumble treatment that most atheists will give her. I just simply questioned what she claimed, and she folded like a cheap Boy Scout tent within 2 minutes.
Yeah, she folded, and then she started trolling, and she got all extra defensive for no reason.
I have a question.
This was not for the listen. What I did was not for the purpose of making her feel bad. It was for the purpose of educating her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay? She wants me to sit there and be Mr. Namby-Pamby. Well, I'm sorry. When I'm dealing with a steady stream of trolls day in and day out, and they're behaving very badly, they're being deceitful, they're being evasive, I'm going to call them out for their persistent bad behavior. I'm going to call them for the wolves that they are. I'm going to call them out for the snakes and the vipers that they are. Okay?
There's a reason why the apostles carried around swords. So we have intellectual swords in this instance. They weren't just a bunch of just namby-pamby nice guys, as you put it.
I don't insult people who saying, well, tell me what you believe. Of course, 1 Peter 3:15 applies. Okay? But there's other passages as well. Okay? This Paul says that the Lord's bondservant must not be argumentative, and we shouldn't be argumentative. But that doesn't preclude that we are aggressive debaters in destroying all speculations that lift itself above the knowledge of God. In Jude 3, it says, earnestly contend, means fight for the faith.
Yeah, it's so funny and interesting how she was ranting and raving and ragging on you about being rude, this, that, and the third, and then she calls you incompetent. It becomes rude herself.
Somebody, listen. You have observed me on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of interactions. People who come with a conciliatory spirit. Well, tell me what you believe. Okay. Why should I believe this? Okay. People who aren't lying. People who aren't trolling. People who aren't being obnoxious. Okay. They don't get insulted. They don't get reprimanded. They don't get criticized. Okay. It's the people who persistently behave badly on servers that I'm on. After a certain point where they are stiff-necked, they are unrepentant, they are, what's the word?
Reprobate?
No. The word is, I'm so tired I can't remember. It's something like recalcitrant.
Recalcitrant?
Yeah, they're just unapologetically they're not playing by the rules of human discourse.
Yeah, she clearly doesn't understand a little concept called sample size. Like you say, you debated 20 atheists. That's not even close to a sufficient sample size to like really understand anything.
Look how upset. By the way, my purpose was not to humiliate her, but to teach her something. Okay, All I had to do was ask her a couple of questions as though I was an atheist, and she fled. She folded. Okay? That wasn't for the purpose of making her bad, but she has to realize what she's up against. And by the way, I wasn't even responding to her in a devious, deceitful, or trolling manner. I just made strong objections to what she was telling me. And then she folded. I can just imagine how she'd react if she was on the receiving end of nonstop deception and trolling. Okay?
And then she got all defensive, and then started employing some low-level trolling tactics. So I got my apologetic from Darth Dawkins. She didn't even want to respond substantively to what you said, and just start trolling herself, getting all extra defensive.
These atheists, many of these atheists who come in here, not all of them, but many of them, they're just downright deceitful and deceptive. They're not coming here asking the hope that is within us and then us responding in gentleness and reverence. There's an absolute place for that. Okay? Look, what if somebody comes to me and say, "Well, why do you believe what you believe?" And then I tell them, and if they say to me, "Well, I don't believe that," I'm not going to lambaste somebody who is respectfully in an adult manner disagreeing. But when I get people who are just overtly and persistently being deceitful, deceptive, obnoxious, trolling, being antagonistic, I'm going to insult them. You know why? Because they deserve it.
You know something, when we come across these sorts of, and I'm not going to say that they're not actually Christians, they very well may be, but when they start preaching this little sensitive Jesus nonsense, I'm going to start calling it the gentle Jesus syndrome.
No, I call it the Jesus aspirin gospel. Jesus takes your blues away.
Jesus aspirin gospel. Yeah, I think it's just a syndrome, man. It's like TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. I just think it's like a gentle Jesus syndrome. You just have this.
Joseph, I'm not angry. This is how I talk. I'm very assertive.
And then there's that. Why are you angry? Like when you.
Yeah, Joseph, I didn't say everyone is a wolf. What you don't understand, Joseph, because you're not a regular, is I deal with a steady, persistent stream, week after week, month after month, year after year, on Discord and other platforms, of people who are wolves. They are vicious people, okay? Does that mean I think that all atheists and unbelievers who come and ask questions and even disagree are wolves and vicious? No, I don't. But because I deal with so many of them, that's what I'm pointing out. There's a disproportionate number of them. And if you aren't familiar with them, look, let me tell you a funny story, okay? Years ago, a father made a comment that I know of to the wife about certain ethnicity and their driving skills. And the young teenage daughter thought it was racism. But what she didn't realize is that certain ethnic groups, when they come from other countries, have certain driving styles that they bring to the United States. See, these people who are inexperienced, they think that somebody who makes an evaluation based upon their experience as a generalization because they've witnessed, these principles over and over again, that because the other person hasn't witnessed it, it's not true. People just are naive.
As they say, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Yeah. So she says she wants to do apologetics as a career. Okay.
Like you have to toughen up if you want to be an apologist.
Oh yeah, I mean the way that I treated her, she better start developing a thin skin, because she's not going to last very long in the atheist-theist debate sphere.
And I don't know what type of apologetics she's done, but I doubt it's been very many online interactions. I would presuppose that many of them were offline, and the online encounters are a lot more susceptible to trolling and the harder questions in the rough and tumble realm than whatever she may have been putting up with previously. If she spends extended amount of time online, she's gonna find out the hard way.
Yeah, they see, this is a typical mindset they have, that, you know, these unbelievers are out there, they're just confused,
Darth,
and
can you hear me?
they don't have enough information. You see, that's the one thing that was in Scripture, but Van Til pounded over and over and over again. Okay, that the unbelievers, to varying degrees, all have an axe to grind against God. Even those who seem pleasant, they may express themselves in a very cordial, adult, and polite manner, but they're hostile, just like the more obnoxious atheists are. They just do it in a more polite way.